I think one of the things that people don't understand about public health is that it really is an information business. We need information so that we can understand what's going on, and we need to be able to collect that information in a timely and accurate manner. And not only collect it, because over the years we've got caught up with collecting data, we have to use this data. We have to use this data to take action. We have to interpret the data so that we understand where we need to make interventions. We need to demand as citizens in our communities and in this world that we need timely data. Weather data from a week ago is not helpful. If I'm planning an event and I know a week later that it's going to rain, not real helpful. And that's the same thing with public health. We need to be able to understand whether it's a phone app or smartphone app or on our computers, what's going on in our communities, what's going on in our state, what's going on in our country, and what's going on in our world so that we can make better decisions.
Today we face serious problems: poverty, war, hunger, disease, climate change, and the natural disasters it brings. As our societies become more connected globally, these problems become ever more complicated. If we are to survive as a species, we need more people like you and me who want to take on these challenges, who want to make a difference. We need more people who truly want to make the world a better place.
And we have to be prepared that when we set out to tackle the biggest problems facing our planet, we won't get it right every time. In fact, we probably won't get it right the first time most of the time. Albert Einstein himself said that failure is success in progress. So as we try to better our world, how do we reliably turn failure towards success? How do we take on the biggest challenges facing us and measurably change the outcomes?
I am Zainab Salvi, founder of Women for Women International. In this series, Becoming Better Ancestors, we're exploring 9 lessons for creating change from the people who eradicated smallpox, the only human disease ever wiped off the face of our planet. Trust me, they weren't successful on their first try either. This is Lesson 5, Build in Consequential Evaluation and Continuous Improvement. Dr. Bill Foege is a legend in public health. He served as director of the Center for Disease Control under President Carter and Reagan. After serving 6 years as the head of the CDC, Dr. Foege co-founded the Task Force for Child Survival, now the Task Force for Global Health, and joined the Carter Center as its first executive director. In 2012, President Barack Obama awarded Dr. Foege the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor for his work in global health, in particular for helping to eradicate smallpox. Dr. Susmita Parashar is a cardiologist at the Emory Heart and Vascular Center, an associate professor of medicine at the Emory University School of Medicine. She is a passionate clinician researcher and educator and trains medical students, residents, and cardiology fellows. In addition to being an accomplished medical figure in her own right, Dr. Parashar's career was inspired by her father-in-law and mentor, Dr. Mahendra Datta, who was a field expert working for the Indian government during the height of the smallpox epidemic in India. He ultimately rose to become India's Deputy Director General of Public Health.
In the battle to eradicate smallpox in India in 1974, finding and containing thousands of outbreaks was the key to getting smallpox under control. In early 1974, the number of new outbreaks was starting to decrease slightly, but definitely. Using the strategy of surveillance and containment, which included a massive workforce, tireless efforts, and reward for identifying new cases, the team was able to measure cases efficiently and effectively, identifying cases, then explaining the rationale for vaccinations and enlisting the support of the infected village took a lot of time and effort. It was incredibly hard work, but the hard work was finally paying off.
And it was amazing how fast we were getting new information, where the cases were, how big were outbreaks, what was the best way to control them. But one thing surprised us. We would think we had done a good job in a village only to have a new case of smallpox appear in the same family where we had watch guards, or in a neighboring household with watch guards. And what was going on? Well, it turned out that we had anti-vaxxers. People who, when they saw someone new come to the village, ran to the fields or the forest so that they wouldn't be vaccinated. And then they would come back later as those people left, and they would get smallpox.
So the team decided to improve the vaccination protocol by adding an additional step. They had worked hard to measure and evaluate the cases, but to improve, they needed to work even harder, measure even more. Now, before beginning vaccination, the team took a census of households surrounding the outbreak, listing all the members of every household. In the evening, these vaccinators would concentrate on finding persons listed on the census form who had not yet been vaccinated. Not only did the teams have to measure cases to be successful, they now had to take a full census of an entire village.
And we could never know what was going to happen the next day, because as we would get more information, it meant we had to do new training, not for dozens of people, not for hundreds, but for thousands of people. We had to come up with new forms. It was always a new step that we had to take, but we were getting to the truth. We continued improving the tactics every month until the last case of smallpox. So we were still changing what we were doing by constant improvement of evaluating our work.
Measurement often reveals improvements that must be made, pointing to even more work that must be done to ensure success. In the case of smallpox, getting really good at identifying new cases revealed that the improvement needed was even more measurement, taking a full village census. With a census in hand, the team could be sure that they had vaccinated everyone in the village. Only then was the team fully able to eradicate smallpox.